Hi there. Welcome to All Things Irish at the Greensboro Public Library. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jenkins, and I'm the Adult Services Librarian at the Glen McNary branch. Today, we're going to be delving into all the materials and resources related to Ireland and the Irish that are just ready and waiting for you at your library in both our print and digital collections. So welcome, or put another way, Céad Míle Fáilte, meaning 100,000 welcomes in Irish. You know, because the Irish don't really do anything halfway. So specifically today, we're going to start with classic Irish authors and Irish literature, and then move toward more contemporary and popular titles. Next, we'll explore the world of Irish movies and film, both serious and hilarious. Finally, we're going to touch on the rich history of Irish music. So sit back, relax, and join me for a tour of some of the emeralds in our collection. So in terms of Irish literature, there are three primary behemoth authors: Joyce, Yates, and Wilde. Of course, there are many, many, many other extremely talented Irish writers, but those are the three that many folks think about when they think about Irish writers. James Joyce, of course, is the celebrated author of several incredible books and one poetry collection that's honestly just kind of so-so, and maybe best known for Ulysses, which follows the protagonist Leopold Bloom through the streets of Dublin one fateful day in June. For slightly lighter Joycean fare, pick up Dubliners. This collection of 15 short stories also follows the intertwining characters and themes of Dublin residents and is incredible in its own right. Oscar Wilde is the brilliant, wonderfully witty playwright who penned such works as The Importance of Being Earnest, The Picture of Dorian Gray, An Ideal Husband, and Lady Windermere's Fan. The Oscar Wilde collection features here is actually a DVD compilation of films of these works originally produced by the BBC. Enjoy an evening with the writer who once quipped, "Life is too important to be taken seriously." Finally, we come to the amazingly prolific Irish poet, dramatist, and prose writer, William Butler Yeats. Yeats was a tremendous pillar in the world of 20th century literature, or at least the world of white male 20th century literature. Yeats helped found the Abbey Theatre, and in his later years served 2 terms as a senator of the Irish Free State. He was a driving force behind the Irish literary revival and a stalwart defender of Irish rights in the fight for independence. Also available at GPL are books to help you learn more about these 3 Irish authors, like Our Secret Discipline, on Yeats' use of form in his poetry, or dive into Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know by Colin, which is a fascinating look at the fathers of Joyce, Yates, and Wilde and their complicated relationships with their complicated sons. Also, a little bit more on Colin a bit later. We also have the most dangerous book in our collection, which covers the ardent fight Joyce took on first to write Ulysses and then to find a publisher. Even after publication, Ulysses remained a controversial novel, eventually leading to an actual obscenity trial and being banned in the US. Of course, like I mentioned, these 3 writers in no way corner the market on Irish literature, especially moving forward to more contemporary literary fiction. Ireland continues to produce brilliant, fascinating, quirky, and moving novels from all kinds of Irish writers. Here's a few suggestions on how you can find your new Irish classic. If you don't know Roddy Doyle, make him your next best friend. His Writing masterfully walks the line between sardonic and compassionate, bittersweet and tender, yet is almost always hilarious. He's incredibly prolific, with 11 novels for adults, 8 books for children, 7 plays and screenplays, and dozens of short stories. Several of his books have been made into films, beginning with The Commitments in 1991. Doyle demonstrates a brash originality and a humor that are both uniquely Irish and shrewdly universal. Normal People by Sally Rooney is, of course, now a highly regarded series on Hulu. Both the book and the series follow Marianne and Connell from different backgrounds but the same small town in Ireland as they weave in and out of each other's romantic lives and start to grow up. In addition to crafting a love story that's super easy to get swept up in, Normal People also explores class and privilege, the insidious impact of abuse, and how what seemed like silly teenage interactions can shape one's sense of identity well into adulthood. You may know Amor McBride from her acclaimed 2013 novel, A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing. In The Lesser Bohemians, as in Girl, McBride is stylistically resourceful and distinctive, capturing a snapshot of thought at the moment before grammar constrains it. What the author has referred to as a stream of pre-consciousness. For a second time, McBride has channeled the mental interior life of a narrator with an intensity, a lack of mediation that few authors can achieve. Yet McBride always seems to make this stunning achievement seem effortless. Milkman by Anna Burns may not be as familiar a title, but it was the 2018 Man Booker Prize winner. No one in Milkman has a name. The setting isn't named either, although it appears to be 1970s Belfast, the city where Anna Burns grew up. This novel is essentially about borders, the borders we try to maintain between ourselves and others, borders between different families, between cities, between countries, belief systems, and even with time itself. Milkman is a story of how the very action of inaction can have enormous repercussions in a time when the wrong flag, the wrong religion, or even the wrong gesture can be dangerous. Told with ferocious energy and sly, wicked humor, Milkman establishes Anna Burns as one of the most consequential voices of today. The Glorious Heresies is a searing debut novel of a life on the fringes of Ireland society after the Celtic Tiger collapsed in an ungainly heap. Biting and darkly funny, The Glorious Heresies presents an unforgettable vision of a city plagued by poverty and exploitation, where salvation still awaits in the most unexpected places, and was named one of the New York Times Book Review's 10 best crime novels. Being Various, New Irish Short Stories is an anthology which aims to showcase the best and brightest of what editor Lucy Caldwell rightfully calls the golden age of Irish writing. Being Various has everything from crime fiction to young adult to magical realism to new modernism. But what is most interesting about the anthology is that it offers an impressive array of stories by writers for whom questions of identity and belonging, what Irishness or Irish writing might mean, are complexly open. While Being Various includes familiar names, like Amor McBride and Sally Rooney, for example, it also celebrates newer voices, like Mulatu Uji Okore, an Irish author who happened to be born in Nigeria, and Yeji, an incredibly talented Chinese writer who moved to County Mayo in 2015. Of course, no Irish collection would be complete without including Maeve Binchy, the godmother of the contemporary Irish novel. She's incredibly prolific and incredibly loved. So if you've never picked up Circle of Friends or A Weekend Winter, make that the next thing you do. If you loved Firefly Lane, you'll love Maeve Binchy. Tana French is an incredibly popular writer of spine-tingling thrillers and whodunits. Her newest novel, The Searcher, was named one of the best books of 2020 by the New York Times, and she's been called one of the greatest crime novelists writing today. If you enjoy Gillian Flynn, Paula Hawkins, or Karen Slaughter, then Tana French is for you. Patrick Taylor first charmed readers with An Irish Country Doctor, a warm and enchanting novel in the tradition of James Herriot and Jan Curran. The Irish Country series are set in the colorful Northern Ireland community of Ballybucklebeau, where there's always something brewing beneath the village's deceptively sleeping surface. Rounding out our list of Irish authors, let's turn back to Colin Tobin. You may be familiar with Tobin from the adaptation of his New York Times bestselling novel, Brooklyn, which was made into an acclaimed film starring Saoirse Ronan and Jim Broadbent, and was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. But make sure you explore Tobin's other novels, like Nora Webster, about a fiercely compelling young widow navigating grief, fear, longing, and finding her own voice, which the New York Times called heart-rendingly transcendent. Readers of Anne Enright will want to dive right into the luminous world Tobin creates. Another name you might know is Emma Donohue. Like Tobin, her international bestseller Room was a New York Times Best Book of 2010 and was a finalist for loads of prizes, including the Man Booker, Commonwealth, and Orange Prizes. Her screen adaptation of Room was also nominated for 4 Academy Awards. But her novels range from the historical to the contemporary and find light in the darkness with new classics of hope and survival against all odds. If you enjoy Sarah Waters or Anita Diamant, treat yourself to the novels of Emma Donohue. You won't regret it. 2 Irish writers you may not know are Kevin Barry and Colin Mccann. Kevin Barry writes stories of rural Ireland in the classic mode, full of love, melancholy, and magic, bedecked in some of the most gorgeous prose being written today. Barry's amazingly gifted at scene setting. He evokes both the landscape of Western Ireland and the landscape of the human heart beautifully. In acclaimed novels like Let the Great World Spin and Transatlantic, National Book Award-winning author Colin Mccann transfixed readers with his precision, tenderness, and authority. With unsurpassed empathy for his characters and their inner lives, Colin Mccann forges from their stories a profound tribute to our search for meaning and grace. And don't forget that many of these titles are also available in ebook and e-audiobook form, so look for it there. From the world of Irish novels to the world of Irish cinema, the Irish are masters of both comedy and drama, so there's loads to choose from. But let's start with some of the more serious films. We've already mentioned Brooklyn, which features an Irish immigrant in 1950s New York who finds herself at a crossroads. Brooklyn has it all: a juicy love triangle, remarkable acting, and gorgeous shots of Ireland. Several of these more serious films take an unflinching look and the violence and unrest that plagued Ireland throughout the 20th century. In The Wind That Shakes the Barley, we learn about the Irish Revolution and the Irish Civil War of the 1920s through the eyes of two brothers, Damien and Teddy O'Donovan, who joined the Irish Republican Army, or IRA. In the Name of the Father is a 1993 drama based on the true story of the Guildford Four, who were wrongfully convicted of an IRA bombing that took the lives of off-duty British soldiers and a civilian. For his role in Hunger, Michael Fassbender fully committed to the role, even losing almost 40 pounds. He plays Bobby Sands, an IRA member who led a hunger strike in 1981 while imprisoned. Directed by Steve McQueen, Hunger is a transfixing depiction of one man's sacrifice in order to be heard. While the world of The Quiet Man is more than a little problematic for modern audiences for its depictions of relationships between men and women, let's say, it remains a classic 1950s John Ford movie. Filmed in County Mayo, John Wayne trades in cowboy hats for the rolling fields of Ireland, portraying a retired boxer who returns to his ancestral home and falls for a local, played dazzlingly by Maureen O'Hara. The movie is known for its depiction of an idealized village in 1920s Ireland, despite the fact that, as The Wind and the Barley shows us, the 1920s in Ireland were anything but serene. Despite this idealized version, John Wayne charms, Maureen O'Hara is a beautiful Irish spitfire, and the movie is so beloved that it features in the background of the 1980s movie E.T. Steven Spielberg credits John Ford as a filmmaking influence and includes this small tip of the hat Easter egg for the sharp-eyed viewer. And now on to the sunnier side of the street in Irish literature. You may have seen the bigger movies that feature Ireland, like Leap Year and P.S. I Love You. If you haven't, and rom-coms are your jam, check them out. If you've already seen once the John Carney movie from 2007, then you're probably already humming the title song to yourself. A breakout indie hit, Once is an aching love story between two musicians in Dublin, played by Glenn Hansard and Marketa Glova. Hansard is, of course, the lead singer of the Irish band The Frames and a solo artist in his own right. Over the course of a week, the characters write music that describes their tenuous position and their undeniable feelings for each other. Filmmaker John Carney, Hansard's former bandmate, captures the real Dublin and all its affluence and poverty, rather than a picture postcard version. But his beautifully shot film serves as a heartfelt ballad about all those swept aside amidst Ireland's economic miracle. The movie's success is no surprise. It's remarkably, almost achingly genuine. And if you love the music of Once, we also have the soundtrack available. So also directed and written by Once's John Carney, Sing Street is also a musical extravaganza and so much fun. See 1980s Dublin through the eyes of 14-year-old Connor, who is looking for a break from a home strained by his parents' relationship and money troubles, while also trying to adjust to his new inner city public school, where the kids are rough and the teachers are rougher. He finds a glimmer of hope in the mysterious uber cool Rafina. With the aim of winning her heart, he invites her to star in his band's music videos. There's only one problem. He's not actually technically in a band. But Rafina agrees, and now Connor must deliver what he's promised, calling himself Cosmo and immersing himself in the vibrant rock music trends of the 1980s. He forms a band with a few lads, and the group pours their heart into writing lyrics and shooting videos. Inspired by Carney's life and love for music, Sing Street shows us a world where music still has the power to take us away from the turmoil of everyday life and transform us into something greater. And the result is awesome. Another one you may not know is The Guard. Brendan Gleeson and John Cheadle co-star in this buddy cop movie, which in 2011 became the highest grossing independent Irish film in history, which is a record it still holds. Gleeson is an unorthodox Irish policeman with a confrontational personality in Western Ireland. Cheadle is an American uptight FBI agent sent to investigate an international drug smuggling ring. And as they say, hilarity ensues. And finally, a date for Mad Mary. When Mary returns to her small Irish hometown after a short spell in prison for something she'd rather forget, everything and everyone seems different. Her best friend Charlene is about to get married, and Mary is the maid of honor. But when Charlene refuses Mary a +1 on the grounds that she can't find a date, Mary becomes determined to prove her wrong. But her attempts at dating are a disaster until she meets Jess, the lesbian wedding photographer, and everything changes. While rough around the edges, Mary is totally lovable in her own way, and the result is a movie that is funny, authentic, and heartwarmingly bittersweet. When looking for movies to celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year, don't forget to check out Canopy. With your library card, just log into Canopy from our digital downloads page and start streaming from a collection of 30,000 films. These range from educational films on the Celtic world and Irish identity from the great courses to award-winning movies, documentaries, and shorts. Canopy Kids also has a lovely selection of family movies, perfect for the kiddos, like The Secret of the Kells and The Secret of Ronan Inish, so the whole family can celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So from our website, go to Books and Media, Digital Downloads, find Canopy, log in with your library card, and go for it. Of course, the Irish are also known the world over for their music. When folks think about Irish music, they typically think of traditional music or trad. And they typically think of the infectious reels and jigs that get your toes tapping, or the sorrowful ballads that mourn many losses, including the loss of Ireland itself during the Irish diaspora. We have lots of materials and resources that feature Irish trad, classic Irish songs and instrumentals full of the bodhran, fiddle, and pipes, and even including more contemporary groups and collaborations like Celtic Woman and the Chieftains. On the other side are the incredible Irish bands that have continued to thrive and create the anthems of our modern life. Still Singing Galway Bay, for example, is a lyric from the Pogues' Fairy Tale of New York, and my favorite holiday song, although it has come under long overdue scrutiny of late. U2 is, of course, the reigning king of popular rock music and has been for decades. But there are also many, many other Irish bands who produce incredible music and who you may not even realize are Irish, like Thin Lizzy or My Bloody Valentine. Many folks may be familiar with bands like Van Morrison and the Cranberries, but they always deserve another listen. So don't forget about the digital downloads either. Access Freegal from the digital downloads page of our website, and you'll find a ton of both traditional Irish music and bands like Flogging Molly, Snow Patrol, Stiff Little Fingers, Damien Rice, The Frames of Glen Hansard fame, and much, much more. So this Patrick's Day, discover the emeralds of our collection at the Greensboro Public Library. Find your favorite Irish classics, discover new Irish classics in books, music, or film, and don't forget to use our digital downloads. Everything you need to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much for joining us. For more resources on Ireland and all things Irish, visit our website, greensborolibrary.org. And later on tonight, join us for a very special St. Patrick's Day program as we celebrate Ireland's rich oral storytelling history with Lona Bartlett of the North Carolina Storytelling Guild. And a very happy St. Patrick's Day to you and yours.